Hey guys, so now let's talk trombones, all right? A smaller selection of trombones to choose from, primarily because we don't sell as many step-up and pro trombones as we do trumpets, but I'll kind of run through what we have. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a box Strat here to show you, which is perhaps a fail on my part. I'll use the Shires to kind of talk to you about the Strat, all right? The Strat that we do have, Strat trombones are kind of similar to the Strat trumpet. It's sort of like the pinnacle, it's the standard, it's what everything else is compared to, okay? We generally stock the 42BO, most popular step-up trombone that they make. It's going to have an open wrap, which means that the tubing from the F rotor is going to extend beyond the tuning slide, okay? So that's what you're going to see there. And then you'll have, of course, the F rotor and attachment that's on a box Strat, just like any of our F attachments, which I'll talk about that in a minute. And then all the instruments are going to be a large bore with a large bell if they're a step-up instrument, okay? So that's the rundown on that. Those are made in Elkhart, Indiana, and really common. The other really common instrument in that kind of price point category is the Con 88H. Both those instruments are really similar in design, and the 88HO has an open wrap, tends to have a little more copper in the bells, which makes it like a bronze bell, gives the 88H traditionally has had a little bit warmer sound than the box Strat, okay? Fortunately, I don't have one to show you, but you kind of get the idea. Now, let's talk about F attachments in general. What does an F attachment do? In very simple terms, the trombone by itself, your normal trombone that you've seen the beginners rent, is pitched in the key of B flat. That means when a trombone player plays it, bob, the note that comes out is a concert B flat, okay? When they just play it with what we call first position, which is when the slide's all the way locked in the front. When we engage the rotor, we're adding tubing to the trombone. We're effectively making the trombone longer, right? And now when they engage the rotor and then play the lowest fundamental, so essentially it takes it down a fourth, okay? Which not only does it extend the lower range of the instrument, but because of that, it allows a trombone player to also then use some alternate positions using a combination of the rotor and their hand slide to play some notes that traditionally they would have to, go further out on the slide for. Does that make sense? Perfect example, the most common thing that you'll see when a beginner or someone new tries an F attachment trombone is when we play the trombone, if we're playing the B flat scale, first note's B flat, second note is C, which is all the way out in sixth position, which is kind of far away. But when we have an F attachment trombone, we can play B flat, and then C is first position with the rotor. So you can imagine how much faster and easier it is to do this and this versus this and this. So that's kind of the combination with that, okay? So that's how an F attachment works. Now, this particular model, this is the Shires Series, and just like I told you before on the trumpets, Steve Shires began as a custom high-end trombone manufacturer and then ended up branching out into trumpets as well. Now, he is located, I believe, in Massachusetts, and just through a relationship that Eastman had kind of in that area, they reached out to Steve Shires to design all of their brass instruments, all their step-up brass instruments. This was several years ago. And Steve did an amazing job with that. And that kind of started the relationship between those two companies. And so eventually it came to pass where Eastman purchased Shires. So now Eastman owns the Shires Music Company. And so Shires still does all the design for Eastman, but they've also collaborated on this Q series, okay? Now the Q series is named after the owner of Eastman. That's where the Q comes from. And what it is a totally designed and spec'd out Shires instrument that's made in the Eastman factories in China and then inspected and set up and reviewed by Steve Shires, the Shires company in the US. So everything has just like an impeccable design quality and impeccable design, inspection to make sure that they're delivering a super high quality product at a very, very affordable price. So the box Strat trombone is a little over $3,000, and is a fair value for that for what that instrument is and its position in the marketplace. But the Q series instrument is $26.95, I think is our street price, which is almost $800 or so less. And there are many players who actually prefer the Q series or the Shires over the Strat. It's that nice of a horn. Okay? So that's the Q series by Shires. Now, Oh, I should also mention this particular model has a yellow brass bell and yellow brass outer slide. So how can you tell? Well, the brass looks yellow. When they have more copper in it, it makes them a bronze bell, like this one. You see how this one on the right has a reddish tinge to it, copperish tinge. Let's move on to that one. So with this instrument, this is an Eastman, and this instrument is modeled more after the Con 88H. It's got that bell with a little more copper content in it. Really nice engraving. Still an open wrap. We know it's an open wrap because the F attachment tubing extends beyond the tuning slide. So here's the tuning slide over here. You can see the F attachment tubing going over it. Generally, players today prefer the open wrap because they feel like when they engage the rotor, it feels more open. Whereas if it was coiled tighter and put inside of here, they would feel more resistance when they engage the rotor. Okay, that's why an open wrap, people care about that. Really high quality manufacturing, yellow brass outer slides, which is important because we have nickel inner slides, and generally we like to have dissimilar materials so they don't meld together. But really high quality manufacturing. This instrument was designed by Steve Shires as well. Not to the level, doesn't have the amount of workmanship and hours that the Q series has, but still designed by him, manufactured by Eastman, and a super high quality instrument at a very reasonable price. The other instrument that I don't have right now to show you because we sold out of, but I at least want to tell you about it, is the John Packer series. Now, with all the Packer stuff, we carry anything from their student level on up, but their Rath series trombones are amazing, okay? So Rath is a high-end British trombone designer, kind of in the realm of like a Steve Shires, but like the UK version of Shires. And John Packer contracted Rath to design and oversee production of their series of step-up instruments. And they have a unique open wrap design, really high quality, great trombone at just a crazy price. They're even cheaper than the Q series. They're roughly in the same price as the Eastman series. Both really high quality instruments, slightly different wrap designs, so some people may prefer one over the other. If you have both in the store, you should definitely, and the price point that your customer's looking at, you should have them try them both, okay? So sorry I didn't have all the product for you to see, but I at least wanted to do something quickly so we had something for you guys to see and to hear and start to learn about some of this stuff. All the products that we carry them because they're a tremendous combination of quality and price point, okay? And some of the products are household names, like anything from Bach or Kahn, and then the other names are names that may be new to some customers, but if they're here, it's because we believe in them. Okay, so if you have any questions or would like to learn more, please reach out to me and let me know, and I'd be happy to do it. And I'll probably do more videos as we get more of the product back in stock. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.